Ladies and gentlemen, hello, how are you doing? Welcome to the BBC Spews. Good evening. It is the 11th of May. God bless America. And if he's got the time, I suppose he can save the Queen as well. But probably not the extended family, because they piss me off. Especially that fucking ginger one. It's always the ginners, isn't it? Always. Fox piss and his shit for brains wife. You know, it sounds amazing, but there was a fucking story I read on Fox yesterday that Joe Biden's sister said that Meghan Markle could be president one day. She's not even a fucking politician. I wouldn't trust Meghan Markle to tie her shoelaces. She must just wear slip-ons or Velcro fucking stilettos. What a plank. This is the best intro music on YouTube. I found that purely by accident years ago when I made my first BBC Spews video. It was in the free music library. Vans of Japan, the band is. I like the name. That's why I picked it. Vans in Japan. Anyway, how funny is that? Fucking Meghan, me again, Markle. You couldn't make it up, could you? This one, I'm not doing a long one tonight because I want to go and talk to Simon Sideways about the military crack at 8 UK. So I'm going to do this for half an hour. I'm going to rest my voice box for a bit. I know that it's called the BBC Spews, but you know, for a change, he doesn't want to do a quick one. I thought I'd just cover two stories that made me laugh this morning. The first one is on the Daily Mail. I hate using the Daily Mail. The good thing about the BBC is because it's taxpayer funded, they're not allowed to absolutely fucking spam you with adverts. The Daily Mail's shocking. It's like you can't click on anything without getting advertising. And the worst thing is they're apparently supposed to use cookies, so it sends you things that you're interested in. But I just want to make it clear that I haven't been looking at fucking collars for small dogs or handbags. I don't know what it is. It must be because most of the people that read the Daily Mail, because now, you know where most of their clicks are generated from, the Daily Mail? It's not news. It's the celebrity section. Because if you scroll to the right on the screen here, can I do it? Yeah, it's female. So it's like literally every 2 seconds, you just go down and it's nearly every story is famous people. Who the fuck wants to read this shit? Braless Jubilee displays her side boob in low-cut maxi dress. You know, the other weird thing about all that shit is, as I've talked about before, when you get the lefty cunts whinging about men, they make out as if it's all blokes that are behind all the ills in the world. And I remember seeing the numbers from, I think it was YouGov polling back in the day, that said that something like 75% of the abuse that women get online is from other women, which is painfully obvious to anyone who's got a fucking hole in their ass, isn't it? Because everybody knows blokes really tend to crawl around women. That's what simps are. Men do it because men are very, very interested in women. To the point where, again, lasses know this. Women don't need to dress up. They don't need to wear makeup. They don't need to do the hair. They don't need to dress nice. Basically, if you're even remotely attractive and you go and bat your eyelids at some blokes in the local, they'll be queuing up to shag you. You could have a mouth full of dog shit, and I know blokes will try and fucking snog you. That's the way men are. So it's obvious to anybody who's not a fucking maniac that most of the abuse at women online is going to be coming from other women. As usual, blame the fucking men. It's like me blaming the gingers. I'm only taking the piss. Don't hate everybody, just Prince Harry and the ones that smell of fox urine. But the blokes get all the abuse for it. It's a proven fact. Most of the abuse directed at women comes from other women online. So stop fucking whinging about it. And again, look at this. Braless Jubilee. Who's reading this story? It's not men, is it? We like looking at tits, but I don't need to worry about the Daily Mail's fucking endless. Look at the size of it. Sorry, we'll come back to Queen Elizabeth's fucking pop model there. The spitting double of Queen Elizabeth. It's other women looking at this shit. It's not men. It's women. Women. Female. It's called female. You know why? Because most of the fuckers that click on it are split asses. Everybody knows that. So it's just, I mean, look at this shit. Madonna NFT collection. A 3D scan of her own minge. Can you believe this? This is the world we're living in. A 3D scan of a minge. I don't care whose minge it is. I don't want a 3D scan of it. They all more or less look the same, don't they? I mean, Madonna thinks she's like some sort of famous sex symbol. I wouldn't put I don't want Angelina Jolie's minge or Cindy Crawford's minge on my wall. No, I don't care. To me, 97-year-old woman's minge, supermodel's minge, they both look like a fucking axe wound in a gorilla's back. So I don't care whose minge it is. I'm not willing to pay to look at it. Thanks. That's not... I've never really understood that, what women think about men. Like, I remember seeing some ridiculous program on TV in America where it was about, I don't know what to call it. You'll have to bear with me. But, you know, like rhinoplasty is like the nose, plastic surgery on the nose. There's some specialization where they're doing, you know, work on your gusset. And there's all these women going, oh, yeah, I just want that lip to be tucked in a little bit. And I was like, who fucking looks at them? Like, seriously? I'm a man and I'm a worldly bootneck in my 40s. I've been with lots of women and I've never once really wanted to get up close and personal with that thing down there. Women are weird. They think all of the fucking insults are coming from men when they're coming from women. And they think men give a flying fuck what the split kippers looks like. And we don't. And all these stories, it's women. Women want to read about fucking Madonna's minge. Women want to read about Selma Blair and Amelia Gray in a fucking daft swimsuit and the Ginger Prince and his shit for brains wife and Alec Baldwin and Jubilee. But I don't even know some of these people. Fucking Mama June, Honey Boo Boo. I mean, who gives a fuck? Who gives a monkey's fart? So let's just get that out of the way. Women, look at yourselves if you want to blame anyone for fucking stupidity, minge surgery, and bullying birds online. It's not misogyny. It's women are fucking bitches because you compete with each other. Again, totally makes sense, doesn't it? While the men were out hunting the mammoths with the spears, the women had to stay back in the cave and fucking bitch. Right? So, I mean, that's just a proven fact to anybody who's ever had to work with a group of men. I've told you a lot this before. When I was in Afghanistan, there was only 2 women, both medics. They fucking hated each other. They hated each other. Men have just evolved to work together better than women have. And all the girls in the chat know, right? All the girls in the chat know it's true. You get 30 men together in a big group, they'll rub along quite well because they know, well, A, they evolved doing it, and B, if things get physical, people die. Women have evolved to be catty with each other because they want to compete for the men and they do it in a different way. And that's why these 2 girls in Afghanistan used to be like, loved each other to the face. If blokes don't like each other, they either outright ignore each other or they'll go outside and have a fight. Women, the more they don't like each other, the more nice they are to each other's face because they're manipulative like that. I mean, they used to be like, oh, hello, Sarah, how you doing? Oh, you're gorgeous, you're gorgeous, you are. And then the second the back's turned, oh my God, she's a fucking whore. Lad, she's a fucking whore. Oh my God, she was shagging fucking Dozza. And then you know where she lives. Oh my God. She's only got double glazing upstairs and she buys her jewelry from Boots. And she's a fucking tramp. That's what they were like. So please don't blame misogyny online on the likes of the Angry Bootneck and his chums. Have a look at yourself. Chase's beauty in all minges. Like a gutted fireplace. So yeah, that's true. That's the way it is. Again, I'm not having a pop of women. Men and women are simply different. We're both daft, but we're daft in different ways, aren't we? Men are more likely to stab each other in the eye with a shattered pint glass, but women are more likely to be fucking bitches verbally. Therefore, don't point at me if someone's rude to you on the internet. All right, that's just to dust that one off. That's what's got me thinking about that. Don't blame the men. It's you lot. Misogyny online. Oh my God, someone disagreed with me on Twitter. It's misogyny. No, ladies, you fucking hate each other. Stop blaming it on me. I'm a man. I'll shag you if you're wearing a bin liner and you smell of shit. That's what we do. Look at the girls. I mean, fucking critiquing the clothes. The blokes critique clothes. Imagine 10 football lads in the boozer and a bird walks in. Quite fit. They all have a quick look. And then he's like, fucking hell. Did you see the state of her nails, Dave? Oh my God. Did you? I tell you what, I'm sure she got the jewellery off eBay. Blokes don't give a monkey's fuck. You do this to each other. So stop having a pop. Yes, Kate knows the crack. Men are easily pleased. Women can be nasty. Are the men mean to you, Kate, in the chat here? I fucking suspect not. It seems whenever I glance at the chat, it's like, hello, Kate, you look lovely. Yeah, because that's what blokes do, because they're nice to women. Anyone who comes on and goes, oh my God, it looks like she draws a fucking face on with a marker pen. It's another woman. We don't notice the trivialities. We don't care about your makeup. We don't care about your clothes. We don't go, oh my God, look at the state of her hair. Oh, she's got split ends, the cunt. That's not us. So look at yourselves when you want to whinge about fucking misogyny. Right, let's do the news. That was a shorter rant than usual because I'm not staying long. Paz, hello, mate. I might see you on Simon's channel later. We're talking about, were we trained to hate? No, we weren't because it's not professional, but I'll talk about that momentarily. This one's funny, isn't it? Look at this. So Singaporean dancer will play Princess Elizabeth in Platinum Jubilee pageant as Bridgerton casting aims to create a diverse picture of Britain and reflect the Queen's role. Shall I show you who's playing the Queen? I'll tell you what, lads. She's a fucking spitting double. Spitting double. If you squint a bit, which she looks like she's doing constantly, if you squint a bit, fucking hell, you'd never, you wouldn't be able to tell. If she stood next to Queen Elizabeth and I went, fucking, I'd get them mixed up. I'd go up to fucking Janice Ho and be like, hello, Your Majesty. Where is she? There we go. Fucking, where did they find her? Where did they dig up this fucking doppelganger? Have they cloned her? I thought cloning was banned. Human cloning. It's clearly not. Fucking Dolly the sheep. Then fucking Queen Elizabeth. Fucking Your Majesty. Your Majesty. I'll tell you what. It's like like looking in the mirror. Fucking quality, isn't it? Yeah, he's on at 8. But he's talking about the troubles with some Ulsterman. So I seen him on like an hour ago, and I thought he might have. I might have the time wrong because I'm obviously 8 hours time difference. But no, he said he's going to be on at 45 minutes talking about it. So I'll probably see you on there, mate. Yeah, imagine. Yeah, imagine. Do you remember when Philip was over in? He was talking to the kids who were students over there, and he famously said to them, "How long have you been here for?" And they said, "Oh, we've been here however long." And he said, "Oh, you best go home. If you stay any longer, you'll all end up with slitty eyes." That was one of Prince Philip's famous gaffes. I mean, it's humour, it's banter. He didn't mean anything by it. Again, I mean, just to state the obvious, and I'm sure any Asian person will agree, because normal people live and work and socialise with people from all these different backgrounds. They join in with the banter. They knew that using a bit of physical humour doesn't mean I have an irrational hatred for these people, does it? It just doesn't. There's loads of jokes people have made about the fact that, some ethnic minorities have got bigger lips than other groups, or slantier eyes than other groups, or darker hair than other groups. And if you make a sort of physical comment about it, Boris Johnson's letterbox one was another good one. You say that thing there slightly resembles a letterbox. It's no different from saying, oh yeah, if you see a fat bird with a green hat on, oh, she looks a bit like a Christmas tree. There's no part of that sentence that suggests you have an irrational loathing and hatred for the person you were making the physical comedy about. I mean, I've even said it with actual racism, but you can't really do it without getting fucking banned for it. But I don't even think if somebody loses the temper and has a go at one individual black person and is ignorant enough, because it is fucking ignorant. You know how much they don't like being racially slurred, so you shouldn't do it. But even if you do it, if you direct it at one individual, I don't think that necessarily is evidence that the person doing it is a racist, because an actual racist is quite rare. Because most people, certainly most working class people, have got friends and family, or at least co-workers and colleagues from all around the place nowadays. And you just don't, because you see people as individuals, which is the point I've made many times. If you get someone who was born and raised in England and he's a dyed-in-the-wool conservative and he loves Britain and he loves the flag and he loves the Queen and he loves fucking tea and stickies and crumpets and fish and chips and he supports his local team and he does all the things that the English natives do, the local people take to those people like a duck to water. They really have a lot of time for it. I've noticed it's very endearing when you get a foreigner who seems to love the UK. When you're like, that black dude who always used to wear the fucking Union Jack suit and he was all pro-Brexit. All the people liked it because they were like, this person's embraced our culture and he seems to get it. And like I've said many times, when you get like a Guardian reader like Owen Jones, he's the same colour as me, but I fucking despise him, because most humans, they care more about ideologies than anything as stupid as what you happen to look like, or put your cock in, or pray to, or not pray to. The glue that draws us together is patriotism. It's a sense of community. It's having things in common with each other. And like I said, if I got in an argument with a fat bloke, this happened. I got filled in by a fat bloke. It takes a strong man to admit his defeat, right? I got filled in by a fat bloke in Plymouth when I was at 4-2 Commando. I was about 20. I might have told this story before. I backed into him at the bar. He was a wanker. And I knocked his pint and he probably spilt about half an inch. I went, oh, fucking hell, sorry, mate, assuming that was the end of it. And then I walks past him and he goes, oi, give me another fucking pint then, son. He was like some older bloke. He's probably about 30. And I went, you what? And he went, get me another pint. And I went, fucking owie, mate. It was an accident. I backed into you. What if you lost half an inch? I said, just don't worry about it. And he went, no. And he grabbed my arm and he went, get me another fucking pint. And I said, it's not happening, fatty. And as soon as I called him fatty, he lost his rag. And then he just totally wasn't expecting it. He might have been a bit of a football hooligan, because I know that the local lads like to try and prove they're a machismo by picking on bootnecks. And at that point, this giant, he was about 6'4" and fucking 300 pounds. He was fat as fuck, but massive. Just went, yeah, and like grabbed me in like a bear hug. And he lifted me up and just started nutting me into oblivion with his fucking 60-pound skull. And I couldn't do anything. Like, my arms were pinned and I was just going, while he was going, just headbutting me into oblivion. And after about 10 headbutts, my face was fucking destroyed. At that point, all the lads I was with, because you're always mob-handed, jumped in and then like bundled him to the floor, and then we all fell over, and then he got a bit of a shoe-in. But I don't mind admitting, for the first 10 seconds of that fight, I was getting fucking decimated as he shoved his fucking 80-pound skull into my soft, youthful face. And my only defense was to go, and try to move. The only way I could evade was via my neck. It was like, not really much room to maneuver there, is there? So, yeah, wasn't very good fun, that. And, well, everyone's got to lose one every now and then. I called him a fat cunt. There's always a point to these dits. Nobody would assume that means I, therefore, now, for the rest of my life, have an irrational, deep-rooted loathing for the fat people. I was going to say the fat community, like, sardonically, because I don't mean it. Fat people. Because there is no fat community. Just as there is no black community or gay community or trans community or tall community or short community or dwarf community or fucking size 8-foot community or blue eyes community. Communities are broad churches where everybody decides they've got a lot of shit in common and they agree on things. That's what makes a community. Which is why you can have a British community, a nationalist community, a local community in a village where you've all got similar ideologies and similar interests and beliefs, but you can't have a fat community, because when I argue with a fat cunt who stuck the fucking head on me. Nobody thinks I've got an irrational dislike for fat people. And I like to think I've made the point quite clearly there. Even if you criticize an individual black person because he's being a twat, or an individual Chinese person, or an individual gay person, again, it's only the things the woke decide is a thing, isn't it? It's not the blue-eyed community or the fucking balding community. They try and say, oh yeah, you've got to be discriminated against. Well, what about bald people? The bald community. Is there a bald community? If you say, fuck off, Bootneck, you baldy cunt, you know, I'm going a bit thin up top now, I'm in my 40s. Do I think, oh my God, he hates the bald community? That bigoted cunt despises the balding. Doesn't make sense, does it? Which, again, if you haven't braced it if you haven't figured this out listening to me for the last 2 years, it's because it's bollocks. And their ideology doesn't make sense. It's horse shit. There's no such thing as this stuff. They just use it because they're cunning, manipulative, commie rats. And they know it works. And they know everyone's terrified of being labelled a racist or a sexist or a homophobe, or a misogynist, or a fascist, or a Nazi, or a fucking xenophobe, or a ist, or a ism. So even though it doesn't make any sense if you apply it to things like the bald community or the fat community, they want to pretend it's a thing for the black community, and it isn't. Because if you're a black communist, I'll find you're a black capitalist, hardcore conservative who'll say, you're a cunt, mate. And if you don't think that's true, again, you're a deranged ideologue because the real world proves you wrong. Or do you think Kanye was hugging it out with fucking Donald Trump because he had a pistol in the small of his back? Like, hey, give me a hug. I want to kill you, you cunt. I've always hated black people. No, he doesn't. It doesn't make sense. It only makes sense if you're a fucking commie and you don't see the real world with open eyes. There's no such thing. So making a bit of physical humour about the fact that this Chinese bird doesn't look fuck all like Queen Elizabeth, it isn't an ist or an ism. It's merely a bit of observational humour. And anybody who's not a fucking psychopath knows it. All right? So we'll leave that one there. That's fucking hilarious, isn't it? Oh, look, he's having a pop. He's having a fucking pop. The Eddie Munster community. Well, they've got feelings too. Sad wings. Fucking arsehole. Right, let's do this other story. This is fucking brilliant. The obvious. California trans child molester does the fucking obvious. That's what this headline should have been. California trans child molester does the fucking obvious. Right? So this thick twat. My missus was on about this guy, actually. Apparently, he's one of the most universally loathed DAs, I think, in LA history. Because he's a fucking left-wing ideologue. And he's a liar. Gascon. And because I can't believe the photo, by the way. In fact, I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's just start with the headline and the story briefly. California trans child molester Hannah Tubbs charged with first-degree murder. The first-degree murder charge comes after authorities recently charged Tubbs in connection to a 2019 robbery. Hannah Tubbs, a transgender California inmate convicted of molesting a child, has been charged with murder. This fucking freak, this sicko, right, grabbed a little girl by the throat, fingered the cunt, and assaulted her. How old was she? She was a 4-year-old girl. That was it. So this sick freak attacked a 4-year-old girl. Physically grabbed her by the throat. Like, it must have been, it's genuinely, like, seriously, anyone who's not insane would read the story and go, gotta be looking at 20 years for that. Gotta be. Grabbed a 4-year-old girl by the throat, fucking savaged her, pulled her into a restroom, and then stuck his fucking hand down her drawers, right? And Gascon, the fucking worm who is behind these fucking decisions in LA County, this twat, District Attorney George Gascon, basically let her off with a fucking slapped wrist. Because, again, newsflash, manipulative men. This is what Posey Parker and fucking Meghan Murphy and all the militant feminists that I like have been saying for years. Again, it's a broad church being a modern conservative. They're all of the left. Posey Parker definitely is. Meghan Murphy definitely is. They're lefty women who are women's rights activists who are reluctantly holding the nose and now seem to be supporting the conservatives because only one side of the political aisle is now dealing with reality. But newsflash, detestable, evil men are willing to lie. I mean, just get your heads around that. Can you believe it? Detestable, evil men are willing to lie? No fucking shit. And this is, again, the central tenet of probably my conservatism. It's that everything I look at with my rational part of my brain says, do a risk assessment. It's part of my professional career as well. Do a risk assessment. Ask yourself what can go wrong, which the British government doesn't seem to do. They never ask themselves what can go wrong. They just go, oh, this will be a good idea. And they don't think about what can go wrong. They just think of the positives, which is fucking criminal for anybody in government. But basically, it's the underpinning of my conservatism. It's because I'm a cynic. And I always think everything's going to go wrong. If they say we're going to give Middlesbrough Football Club £20 million government grant so they can build a nice new stadium, I don't go, nice one, we're going to get a new stadium. I go, what do they want for it? What do they want for it? What can go wrong? Who's going to build the stadium? Where are they going to get the materials from? Are they going to build it with fucking asbestos? Next thing, I'm going to have 3 testicles, you cunts. I'm a natural cynic. I'm a good human chap, but good human chaps are naturally cynical. That's where you derive a lot of comedy from, isn't it? It's by pointing at the insane and showing it to the world and laughing your fucking ass off that the people that run the show can be that stupid, right? So I'm a natural cynic. That's why I'm a conservative. I see something and I go, what's going to go wrong? They go, let's let in 1,000 women and kids from Afghanistan. Yeah, help the world, healing, joy. I go, what's going to go wrong? How many of them are going to fucking hiss and explode? How many of them are going to be crammed with C4 up the shitbox and fucking detonate halfway through the arrivals lounge? What's going to go wrong? Are any of them going to be kitty fiddlers? Are the Afghan government going to empty the fucking prisons and send them all over? Because that's what I'd do. This is what we need for life. We need cynicism. We need cynicism in the world. Because it's common sense. It's logical to think, what could go wrong, you cunts? Right? And this is why I'm so disgusted by the likes of George Gascon. Because this fucking worm seems to think a man capable of rape, torture, murder, abuse won't lie to play a system to get themselves a benefit. Same with Rachel fucking what's the creature's name who got sent to a women's prison in England and fucking raped all the girls in the prison? What's the creature's name? Rachel something. There's one in America just knocked up 2 of the birds in prison. Fucking trans man, right? This is why I'm so disgusted for these people, because they're supposed to be clever. They're supposed to be sensible, and they don't think anything through. They never do a risk assessment. They never think, if I do this, what can go wrong? So George Gascon, worm, maggot, human sloshing portaloo, walking toilet, abortion of a human being with a fucking bad hairpiece on. This man puts women and children at risk because he hasn't got the intestinal fortitude to ask himself, will this thing that will make me feel warm and fuzzy be dangerous for the women and children in my community? That's why I detest these people. That's why I detest these people. And if you tell me that's not a good enough reason to detest someone, I'll call you a fucking lunatic. That's why I hate them. I despise them for the weakness. George Gascon knows it'll make him feel better if he does something nice for people, what he perceives as nice. And he knows that the left-wing cunts in his community will vote for him if he does something nice. But if you don't sit there and think, would a felon tell a lie in order to get a better sentence? You have failed at life, and you shouldn't be running a bath, let alone a fucking district attorney's office. You stupid bastard. So let me do the story before I blow a fucking gasket, right? So he aggressively, savagely, sexually assaulted a 4-year-old girl, grabbed her by the throat, diddled her fucking knickers, right? This piece of shit. And then, after doing that, he went in front of fucking George Gascon's district attorney's office, and they said, oh, we can't jail him. And they refused to try him as an adult even though he was a couple of months off his 18th birthday, because he's a trans, and we have to feel pity for these people. Well, here's the fucking obvious as a result of this stupidity. There's Hannah fucking Tubbs, right? As the Bootnecks talked about many times before, why is there no fucking quality control? Why? At least in the 90s, if you said you were a bird, at least they used to do something. They'd get like an operation, they'd have a strange voice because they've took a lot of hormones, they'd always wear a wig and a nice frock, and they at least took the time to do the fucking makeup. In clown world, that is a fucking bird. That felon, rapist, paedophile simply says, I'm a bird, and they go, oh, well, we better give this troubled young lady a nice short sentence then. Right? Again, I'm not having a pop at the trans community at all. I'm a very reasonable centrist on this, as all of you cunts who take the piss know. Sad wings, you know the crack. I'm a bit of a lefty arsehole on this stuff because I think anyone who's an adult should be free to live their life however they see fucking fit, as long as it doesn't affect me. But when you're talking about convicted felons, paedophiles, rapists, killers, sex offenders, to see one of them who just looks like that, just turn around and say, I'm a bird, and the fucking DA, Gascon the twat, go, okay then, gotta be nice, gotta be nice. If all that cunt had to do is not change his name to fucking Hannah, and the DA would have gave him 25 years. This is the insanity of the woke identity politics shit we're playing now. If you're like me and you've got moral fibre, well, honour. First of all, you'd never end up in court because you wouldn't do it. But B, if I ever did end up in court, I'm not the type of person that would ever dare use the system to try and game it. Do you know what I mean? Like a scouser. I like to be proud of the man that looks back at me in the mirror. So if I ever made a mistake and ended up in court, I'd probably hold my hands up and say, you know what, I deserve that. If someone killed my missus like in a drunken fucking argument and I lost my temper and stabbed him in the face 12 times, I'd probably go to court and go, you know what, I deserve to be in prison for a very long time. No excuses. Shouldn't have done it, even though it was my missus. I lost my temper. I'll take it. But criminal rats who are willing to do anything, rape kids, murder people, torture people, abuse people, rape, they will lie to get whatever they think will get them a better sentence. And if that means saying, oh yeah, I'm a split ass now, they'll do it. They'll do it. Of course they will. Of course they will. So this twat, who, if it was just me and I went, yeah, I did that, lock me up, I'd have got 20 fucking years for it. But because Hannah fucking Tubbs started identifying as a female shortly after being arrested for fucking assaulting and molesting a child, Gascon, fuckhead that he is, saw fit to let Hannah Tubbs out early. And Hannah Tubbs doesn't have to go on the sex offenders register. No, because Hannah Tubbs is a victim. What about the 4-year-old girl who got in a fucking headlock? Is she not a victim? And Hannah Tubbs, obviously, is now being charged with fucking murder. So the short version, ladies and gentlemen, because I'll be here all day and I'll split my main vein, is that this guy is a fucking piece of shit. And any politician or prosecutor or federal or national, might be in the UK, any official working on the behalf of the law that is naive and pathetic and ignorant enough to treat a fucking hardened criminal with kid gloves just because they go, I'm a woman now. Burly fucker with a deep voice and forearms like fucking Popeye. I'm a fucking bird now, you cunts. If they suddenly go, okay, then we're going to give you 12 years, but fuck it, have 6 months off, and then we'll pay for you to go off to Flamingo Land for a week-long course. Go on a basket weaving course to Lakewater Valley. That'll sort you out, mate. It fucking won't. And I'm sick and tired of women and children, innocent women and children, paying the price of these fucking lefty do-gooders and their slack jaws and their fucking liquidized spinal columns. It's a fucking outrage. And if there was any justice in the world, this prick would get locked in the same cell as Hannah, and we'll see what George thinks of fucking Hannah's 10-inch fucking vibro clit. We'll see what George makes of that when Hannah's got him in a fucking headlock and he's going, bumming his fucking head off in a jail cell. That's like, it's fucking lunacy. I want George to get locked in with Hannah. I want Hannah to massage George's fucking prostate with her particularly vibrant clitoris. That's what I want to see happen. Because maybe George will learn that there's a price to pay for his fucking stupidity. Anyway, right, that'll do. I'm going to fucking be back on in 25 minutes. I want to try and talk to Simon about the military. It's important. It's a topic that's close to my heart. I will rest my vocal cords for 25 minutes and I'll see you all there probably. All right, thanks for listening. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow. And I'll treat you to an hour then. Because you deserve it. You're all people of taste and good breeding. Except Sadwings, he was born over here. He doesn't know what's going on. He doesn't have a clue. Right, see you all very soon. Cheers.